Good morning again. I found myself in a Panera. Man, I forgot my hand charger like a silly, silly boy. I am Shaggy. I am Filalitea. I make mistakes like everyone. And it starts at assumption. It starts at, my dad would remind me, it starts at not measuring twice before I cut. It starts there. It starts at assuming that I've got it in my pocket because I always put it in my pocket and I have everything in my pocket and I can totally remember putting it in my pocket and then leaving, getting here, putting my hand in my pocket to look when I'm 15 minutes away and then realizing, nope, you thought that it was still plugged into your phone. You've been carrying your phone the whole way here. You didn't put it in your pocket. And so I am just as error-prone as everyone. This is why I talk about being error-prone in the way that I do, because I am talking to myself on some level. I am just as stupid as all of you, because I'm maybe more human than all of you, right? And so, hi, I'm Shaggy. I'm Filalitea. That was $1.09. That was a minute 9 that you're not getting back, and it wasn't really a cold open because that's not what I want to talk about. I sat down in this Panera. That was set up for what I want to talk about. I sat down in this Panera without I don't have my C2C fast charger, which is long, so I don't have a cord in my phone plugging or charging my phone in right now. So I'm at 23 and dwindling. Got to make this one quick, right? And I don't have my hand charger. I let it die doing this morning meditation. So this is why I haven't got into this production cycle. I'm going to have to get into this production cycle now that it's warm, and I've been putting it off in the winter, hoping that I would just get some sympathy donations to build up maybe two. But I've been talking about this. Well, we're past that. So I have to get into this flow, and that means my battery is going to be very low most of the time, which is going to put me into a stress-feeling situation because I can only make money with my phone. If my phone is dead, I am making $0 because even my donors don't know my phone is dead. So I had to tell the one person who donates to me today, hey, phone charger is broken. You sent me money for cigarettes. I have spent that money on, you sent me money for weed. I spent that money on weed. I'm not asking you for money for my phone charger, but if you don't hear from me, you might want to send me money. That's a joke. I didn't say that. So I'm sat here in this Panera, and I need to put my phone away from my body, so I'm not playing. My cord that I have that's able to charge it is 8 inches long. I'm not leaning under this table. I'm not that addicted to making money. So what I've done is maybe I am because the phone is in my hands and not charging. So anyway, I put the phone down, put music on in my ears. As you can see, I have the one in because I don't have 2 charge banks right now, so I can't keep. I'm going to really struggle with keeping my stuff above 50% until I make the $25 or whatever it costs to get a phone cord, and it's incredible. I said, hey, my phone cord is busted on my personal. I'm going to need $25 with that, and people are like, oh, you need $25, but you have a phone? It's like, yeah, we're in 2025. This thing is the most efficient way to make money. I see women in their 60s. I see people who are significantly less intelligent and able-bodied than I am on here doing things like eating for tips, covering themselves in disgusting things for a live audience of thousands who are super liking. So don't tell me that what I'm doing is any way out of the ordinary. Podcasts record live all the time. All the time. All the time, podcasts ask for money. Every small YouTube channel asks for money. My saying I need the money to replace my cord so I can keep this channel alive is actually a more desperate act than a person who has a job saying, send me money so I don't have to go to my job. You people are outright evil. I hope you know that. And so anyway, I decided to read my book. I'll read my book and I'll focus on my book while I let my phone charge, while I focus on thinking about something else while I wait on the bus to come so I can go back to my tent, get my hand charger, get on the next bus, go down to Christ's table, go to the library, charge my stuff, come back here, charge my stuff the rest of the way, go back to the tent and try to be productive in the low light. You see, I think that's a pretty good workflow, and I think that's deserving of you, the audience, right? And I think that it's serving of you, the audience, and I think that in that way I deserve to be served in return, in singles, just like a stripper. I don't understand why if I went and waited tables, you would throw singles at me, but doing this, you won't. And so anyway, I'm going to demonstrate how I'm actually providing a service I'm going to read a book for you. I'm going to explain something to you about myself. I have been trying to track down hell, the location, where hell comes from, why hell is the way it is, because a person who paid me money once asked me to. Now, they're no longer paying me money. They're actually no longer in my life. They said horrible things about me and fucked off from my life in a really embarrassing way for them. And so now that I've thought about it, I've plugged in my headphones so I can at least get my headphones going, right? This is what I'm trying to teach you, and I am thinking about it, I am seeing it, and I am practicing it while I play these terrible idle games that are management sims. I practice managing my life and the lives of other people by playing management sims, and why wouldn't I? Like, why are NFL quarterbacks allowed to practice running NFL offenses with VR headsets, but I'm not allowed to practice Why is university the only place you think you can learn anything? You don't learn anything in university. No one learns anything in university. Everyone will tell you that everything they learned that's useful to them as a professional, they learned out of university. Every single person. Everyone. And so I want to read for you a passage by a person who's university educated that is referring to a passage that was recorded by a person who is university educated of an event that happened to a person who was university educated at the beginning of the foundation of the university system in Europe. Take that. 6 minutes, 52 seconds for an open. I get 7-minute cycles to say what I want to say, and that was a perfect loop, y'all. I started, I went la 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 la, let's spiral this out, and here we are at start point 1, 7 minutes and 7 seconds in. Let's go. We're returning to Ghost in the Middle Ages by Jean-Claude Schmitt. I don't know if he's French, so I don't know if I should be calling him Jean-Claude, but that's how I'm saying it because I like to pronounce people's names wrong until they correct me. It's a way to test whether they're a man or not. It's also a way to test whether transgenders believe what they're saying, because if they don't automatically correct you, then they don't believe it. They're just asking you to believe it, or at least asking you to act like you believe it so they don't actually have to believe it. And I have a problem with that. I do have a problem with that. Yeah, I'll challenge you to believe who you are. Be who you are. Ask me to believe in you because you are who you are. Don't ask me to believe something other than what my eyes and my mind tell me. Don't tell me to disbelieve my senses for you. You're not God. You aren't a supernatural entity. You aren't a supernatural phenomenon. You aren't even a natural phenomenon. You are just an event. You're just a thing. From my perspective, you're just a moment. You're just a passing thing that I have to tolerate on some level. Well, until you start giving me money, and then, well, now you're something that is invested in me and that I am now getting a return on my investment of my time, because you understand that time is money. And this is a massive time sink for me. 8 minutes of my day while my phone dwindles in charge. But I've been trying to hunt down hell. And if you hunt down hell long enough and you do it well enough, you come across a certain goddess, folklore figure, supernatural entity named Hellequin, spelled Hellequin. Hellequin. And now that comes from Hel, which is how you pronounce Hel's name, the goddess of the Nords, who is kind of female contemporary to Thor and Odin. And Frigga is actually the one who might be just a female version of the two, might be the same character, actually, etymologically. It's very interesting and very strange. Wiccans, you don't know shit. Don't tell me to study other religions before you know anything about what was made up to make yours. So anyway, Hela is how you pronounce her name in the old the old Norse, maybe even in modern Norse. Hela, Hel, is pronounced Hela. For whatever reason, they put that much stress on that L. All right. Well, if you're going to say Hela in English, well, if you put that much stress on the L, you double that L up and you get Hela. You just don't pronounce that at the end unless you're like a girl with a snotty attitude. Well, go to hell. Not much changes. As much as you want to tell me that, well, etymology is useless because words change. Not much changes. Not much changes. Things are gotten wrong. That's what changes. Is when things go wrong. Then there's change. Everything is designed to be sustainable. So if there's change, something has gone wrong. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. That's everything. Why do you think we have a constitution? Why do you think we still recognize a constitution that was written more than 200 years ago? Come on, use your brains. Use your brains, folks. I want to read from you this book. He's talking about someone who's seen and what he called Harlequin's hunt. All right, and I have to remember that we're talking about written between 1129 and 1136. We're talking about people who are decidedly influenced by the Jewish literary tradition, because one of the only collection of books they were allowed to read was the Jewish canon, the Old Testament. Okay, and so the medieval language became very ironic and very playful in the written canon around the 10th century, so 200 years before 1129. Okay, so I want to read this for you, and you need to understand that sounds like is like to these people. That's how their language worked, but specifically that's how their euphemistic art worked. And one of the things I like about this author is, as he's talking about this book, he's treating it as both fiction, nonfiction, and euphemism all in one, all at the same time. The knights of the time being described, 1129 to 1136, with their furor, their deadly weapons, their harnesses, their insignia, their taste for women, whom they resemble with their long hair, clearly mirrored the phantoms of Harlequin's hunt. Whether they committed a mortal sin by killing someone close to them or whether they themselves died in battle, they were the game of the devil. That line, that these ghosts were the game of the devil, and that living knights were the game of the devil, that is one of the most beautiful, perfect uses of double entendre I have ever seen an author, but most importantly an historian, use in my life. I have read so much history, so much work produced and published by historians. I have listened to so many historians speak, and this use of double entendre right here, that these knights were the game of the devil, gives me cold chills. I had to read it because I was going to have an obsessive thought of it. This is brilliant. They're not only the game pieces, they're not only the game that the devil is playing, they're also being hunted by the devil in life and in death. They're the prize kill. Someone high up in society who's responsible for a religious duty is the game of the devil. Brilliant. Brilliant. The middle class is the game of the devil. Brilliant. That is a brilliant and beautiful and awesome idiom. And no one is going to watch me be this excited about reading this, but that is an awesome idiom. Were they not going to participate in the ride of the damned? Our author doesn't want to spill the beans on page 99, but he understands that this Harlequin, that this hell, this goes all the way back to the birth of the Indo-European language family. This is cool. Diana. You know she used to hunt men, human men. Eos used to hunt human men. This is cool. Hell is a fickle woman.